Well, JJ's doing a little definition around the sidewalk area there and the grass. And I am weeding. All right, good morning everybody. I've got myself protected here from the sun. Let me see if I can adjust the camera a little bit. All right, and I'm gonna put sunglasses on. There. So I'm out here weeding and he's defining a flower bed, and it is a beautiful day. Welcome to Big Valley Living. My name is Michelle, and I recently was told that my remission from stage 4 cancer, colon cancer, my remission was over, so I am now going through treatment called Folfiri with Avastin. Thanks for everybody who's coming back. I may have to edit some of this sound because it gets a little bit loud as the morning goes on here. It's been very peaceful. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an update. My last update was actually about a week ago after, well, it was earlier this week, after I had had my first weekend following my first treatment of this round. I'm going to have 12 rounds. So I only have 11 left. Okay, there's my silver lining, right? So anyway, the weather's really nice. We're expecting a little rain tomorrow, but all of our fruit trees are beginning to bud. The pomegranate has leaves coming out on the tree, and as soon as they get to a certain point, the tree will start budding. The apple trees are both starting to swell where the leaves are going to be. They won't bud they'll probably be the last thing in our yard to bud. We have a peach tree that has not budded, but the where the leaves are, those are swelling. My apricot tree actually has active buds, and it's an early bloomer. So we're super excited this year. If I got a couple dozen fruit from this tree, I'll just be as happy as a clam. I don't know. We'll see how much we have because they're really good to just pick when they're just perfectly ripe, on the tree. You just don't get that in the store anymore, which is kind of a bummer. There's a lot of traffic right now. Okay, so the apricot tree's looking real good, and then we have a nectarine, which I love, but those again, all fruit is just so much better when you pick it at its ripeness from your tree. And if you've had that luxury or that treat in your life, you know what I'm talking about. It's just like picking a tomato out of your garden versus buying one of those cardboard looking and tasting things that are grown in a greenhouse somewhere with chemicals and water, and it's bred to travel 4,800 miles in a container for a month. Oh, those tomatoes even smell like mold to me, like moldy ocean water. I don't buy them. Yeah, so the citrus isn't doing, a whole lot right now, as it really shouldn't be. In the backyard, that's where most of the citrus is. I'm actually sitting in front of a clementine, mandarin orange, and oh my darling, she doesn't have a bud on her. So we'll probably give her some food and see what happens. But it's a good sized tree, the trunk's growing, so we're just gonna keep doing what we do. So I'm actually just sitting here weeding. So since Monday, I had a couple of days that were but I didn't need anti-nausea medication 2 days out of the last 4. And that really makes me happy. Now I keep the one that's fast acting nearby just in case it just hits me, because it can. But I'm trying not to take too many of those meds, at this point, because then they might not be as effective when I need them to be. Let's see, but my appetite's been good. My mood has been good. we went to the doctor, and he did tell me that I have 2 spots near my lumbar, but they're not in my bone, they're not touching the actual spine. And so our hope really is that this round of chemotherapy, maybe halfway through, we don't see those spots. And then it'll be my job to work real hard to keep them away, right, with my diet and exercise and everything. So I'm sorry about the hat. I really do. This is one of the things I have to be really careful about is sunlight. My eyes aren't super sensitive yet, but my skin burns easily anyway, but with chemotherapy and almost all medicines, if you think about it, they just tell you to stay out of the sun and or protect yourself very well. So I tend to do my gardening early in the morning. Thankfully right now, I have not seen a mosquito. Last night at 5 o'clock, it felt like Attack of the Killer mosquitoes. I mean, they were just everywhere. So, yeah, I guess we do what we do. Is there an effective, I know there's a plant I could plant, and I know that marigolds, I'm going to just go ahead and weed while we're talking. Marigolds are supposed to help because I think they're related to that mosquito plant. So all day today, it's all about getting the gardens ready. It is going to rain soon. There's a lady walking her dog, and my dogs are in the house losing their minds. Yeah, so I'm going to be getting some seedlings going. We'll talk about that in the next few days. But the appetite's been good. I've enjoyed doing some gardening outside with JJ, and we have the worst crabgrass, you guys. I told JJ when we're all long gone, crabgrass is going to take over the world. Oh, man. Okay. So the appetite's good. The appetite's good. For our anniversary, because we had gone out to dinner and had a really nice dinner the week before. We don't go out to dinner a lot, but we figured that when we do, we might as well make it worth our while. How many nose itches? So I said to JJ the night before our anniversary, what meal, kind of represents us, right? And not anything fancy, just in your mind, what comes to mind? He said, meatloaf. Meatloaf sounds good, excuse me. Well, I'm not eating really any beef or pork right now, and what we buy is grass-fed and grass-finished. But because I have an appetite right now, and because meat somewhat appeals to me, I went ahead and I made 2 bread pans of meatloaf. We ate one that night with some mashed potatoes, and I'm going to tell you guys something about being prepared. Let me move this a little bit. It's a little bit better. Let me tell you something about being prepared. So, we had gone to Costco. We picked up gas and something else that day. Oh, it's like some Clorox wipes. That's right. And we knew we were going to have the meatloaf. I had everything out. Picked up the peppers for it. All the stuff we use. And we had most of it here. So I'm like, oh man, I forgot to get potatoes after we got home. I never really use potato flakes, but they are really good and they're useful like in bread and stuff like that. I'm going to try a recipe that Heather at the Needy Homesteader just did. She added some bread flour to some like Subway rolls or something. It looked really good. So I'm going to try it. She's my bread making channel that I've always watched. So anyway, we had the meatloaf. The meatloaf was so good that the next night, even though there was a little bit left over, JJ asked if we could have it again. Well, sure. Took it out of the freezer and had it again. So tonight we're going to eat the leftovers of the leftovers. I'm just going to heat those up and make some green beans on the side. But it was nice to have and I had powdered milk too. I didn't have milk in the house. So having those things in my pantry and being prepared was really nice. So that's one of the reasons I like to prepare. It isn't for doomsday, and it's not for all the time for, you know, in case I have cancer or something. It's just so you don't have to run up to the store for something so basic, you know, but you don't keep it around a lot because you don't use enough of it. So, and the milk I used was Thrive Life. That was really good too. I'm not a consultant, but I do like the products that I've purchased so far. So that's what we did then. I'm trying to think. The night after that, we had brie on sourdough crackers. It's kind of our bougie California meal. It wasn't really heavy. Had a little bit of greens with it. It was really good. And I've been enjoying like Perrier sparkling waters and stuff. I'm not a fan of soda. I don't really like super sweet drinks or anything, and I love water, but I have to break it up a little bit, and those bubbles do a good job. So I'm gonna go keep weeding, and I had my blood test yesterday, and I haven't heard anything bad. I feel good, so I'm assuming that treatment on Tuesday is a go, but I'll see you before then. I'll see you later, everybody. Be kind.